Welcome back to another episode of the Divine Flow. This is a special episode, an episode that's dear to my heart. I'm interviewing a live specimen, someone who went on a workshop, but not only went on a workshop, took the work with them and is spreading it out into every corner that he could see possible. He's also my nephew, so we go way back. And just watching his progression of from just a little boy until today, he's a man and he's married and he's building a life, has been very inspiring for me. So I'm excited for this interview. Welcome to Menachem 4. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to our discussion over here for all those that are tuning in. And I just want to hear a little bit of background about who you are, how life started, and who you were also before you started doing work on yourself.
So I'm Menachem 4. So how life started and where I was before I started doing work on myself. So I grew up in a big family, 11 kids, a lot of big personalities, a lot of intensity in a certain way. So many kids looking to be seen, looking to be heard, want attention from their mother, from their father. And what I discovered doing this work is that I didn't know before, that when I was growing up, as much as I had amazing parents, and I'll tell you today, I had the best parents in the world, I was missing, or I thought that I wasn't being seen, I wasn't being heard enough, whether it's because there's so many voices around, because there's so much going on, or whether it's my parents trying to balance everything. Also, a big thing for me was in school or even at home, after school, my behavior would very often be, I thought was being judged as malicious, as, you're taking this family hostage, you're taking over, you're making crazy in here, we're trying to run something a certain way. And to me, I'm just being free. Like I wasn't intentionally being malicious. I was 10, I was 8, I was 6. I wasn't trying to take people hostage. I wasn't trying to be in school and drive my teachers crazy. And because of that, I'm this kid. I just was not interested in the Gemara that day. So I was talking to my friend or doing whatever. So through this work, I learned that I developed a huge need to be seen, to be appreciated, to be understood, right? Big thing for me is being understood, because I felt like I wasn't being understood. I felt like I was always being told I'm doing this, but to me, I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. And when I went, so I through school, through elementary school, was rough. For me, it was a load of fun, but it was rough for everybody around me.
So it wasn't rough for you, it was rough for them.
Oh, yeah. For me, it was crazy. It was wild. I learned later that it was rough for me also, but in the experience, it was fun. It was wild. It was crazy. I was just doing whatever I wanted. Then came time for high school, Masifta, and no schools would take me because I was crazy.
So this kid with lots of energy. Like, give me a typical day. Like, what you would like. Give me the craziest day at Cheder where they knew this guy is a troublemaker. Like, give me some story that you were really trying to be seen or being mischievous.
It was more, I was fighting with my words. I wouldn't do crazy things. I wouldn't like jump off walls or throw things. I wasn't like that. I was just, I'll give you an example. I was in 3rd grade. I'm not going to say the rabbi's name. Well, it doesn't matter. He did nothing wrong, actually. Whatever. He came in to class, and I noticed, like right in the morning, I noticed he came in. He wasn't happy. Like whatever. It was just like a regular rough morning, or stressful morning. So he came in, and obviously, a couple hours later, I'm doing something wrong. I'm talking, I'm whatever, I'm disturbing class, writing paper planes, or sending messages to my friends, or just whatever. And he pulls me out of class, and he just starts laying into me. He's like, every day you're jumping and you're this and you're disturbing and I can't run a class. He just keeps going. I'm just sitting there silent. He's going, going, going. And then third grader, I said, you're not really upset at me. You got into a fight with your wife this morning and now you're taking it out on me. And he's like, what? What did you just say to me? And
This is like a 8-year-old kid.
8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I noticed you came in pissed and now you're just laying it in on me. I think what's he supposed to say? Like, if I had a student now tell me that, I'd be like,
yeah, this guy's
right?
up to no good.
Yeah. So send me to the principal's office, which I was a regular over there every day. Principal was actually pretty nice. He knew that what's funny with him, I felt very comfortable as much as he was always punishing me, but he knew that I wasn't malicious. Like when I would get kicked out of class, he would like take me to help him like on chores, and we'll go shopping, and like just like he's like, take a basketball, go to the gym, like just go do something. Yeah, so that was a typical day in Cheder. Fight with the teacher, get sent to the principal. Principal has me for the rest of the day. We do stuff, or he makes me wait in a room or something. And yeah.
At least the school is smart. They're like, go play basketball, or I'll take you on chores, not like punish you more, because that's just not going to work for you. You're too smart for that stuff. Or you're going to tell your teacher like you had a fight with your wife this morning. It's not typical of an 8-year-old kid to do those things, but you knew how to fend for yourself. And then comes like, okay, 8th grade, you finished elementary school, and everyone knows, okay, this guy's big trouble. Like, there's no way that we're gonna take him in our yeshiva. He's not an in the box type of guy. He's outside the box. He's full of energy, and we gotta go and do something else. So what happens then?
So I applied to many yeshivas. I applied first to ones that all my friends were going. Staying in town was not a good idea. I wanted to go out of town for yeshiva, so Toronto wasn't an option.
What age is that?
14.
14, you want to go out of town? Yeah. Nice.
I wanted to be an adult when I was 5.
They always said you were the 40-year-old in the 5-year-old body.
Yeah. I used to say that a lot. So I applied to a few yeshivas, and obviously everyone was like, no. And then I heard about this, and my mother actually saw this video. It was like a ad for a yeshiva, like a new yeshiva just opened up, small, in Muncie. The rabbi's name was Rabbi Chami, a real trailblazer. Like, he was way ahead of his time. He built a beautiful program. So it wasn't the typical yeshiva learn all day type of thing. We had gym, we had English in the afternoon, like full Regents diploma studies to get your Regents diploma. Night Seder, like we didn't have Chassidus at 7:30 p.m. We had like EC, like extracurricular activities, like chess club, and like it was like a yeshiva spin on a high school. He also hired some incredible staff. And I saw this video of him advertising for what he does, what the yeshiva looks like, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. And actually, it was very cool, because my mother and I were sitting there watching the video, and I actually told her, I said, you know what? I'm excited to go to a place where nobody knows me. I could reinvent myself.
Wow.
Right? Because I was just coming from, everybody knows Menachem For as this crazy kid. I still bump into guys today, by the way, in Crown Heights. You're Menachem For? I'm like, yeah. And you, yeah, what's up? Like, I have no idea who. It's like, we were in camp in Montreal like 15 years ago. They all remember me because that kid that was constantly getting called on the PA, Menachem For, please come to the office. All right. So everyone had the same, Menachem For, this crazy kid. So I was very excited to go to a place where teachers didn't know who I was. I know no kids there. I knew. So I told my mother that, and like we both like made this like we both said it at the same time. Like, you have an opportunity here. Like, go take school seriously for the first time ever. Like, give it a shot, give it a chance. And more than just giving it a chance when it comes to yeshiva, I was also giving it a chance when it comes to religion. When I was 14, I wasn't upset at Judaism or religion. I didn't have animosity. I love parts of, like, I loved going to shul. I loved, some days I loved davening. Some days I couldn't care less, so I didn't daven. I loved Shabbos, but every now and then, if, I remember I had an iPod Touch, so if I rented a movie, it was going to expire in 30 hours. All of a sudden, Shabbos came in. To me, it wasn't even like, Shabbos, it was like, the movie's going to expire. Like, gotta go watch it. So I wasn't so much fighting it. I was more like cold to it. Like, whatever. Like, I remember I was telling my friends, even in 8th grade, I said, I'm 50-50. I could see myself. I could see myself raising a frum family. And then I could also see myself not. I could see myself, I had an idea back then that I'm going to go to drama school. I'm going to be an actor. I'll go to Hollywood. That'll be my life. So that was my options in my head. 14 years old, going into Mesivta. I'll give this a 1-year shot, and I'll give it a shot. I will. If Judaism inspires me, if people in this yeshiva, the rabbis, I feel inspired, connected to them, boom, let's go. I'm in. If not, drama school. So I went, and I met this rabbi who's there literally like the first week. I didn't even speak to him. I just saw this rabbi in the corner of the room. I still remember by Shachris, he's all the way in the corner. His name is Rabbi Lush. And I just saw it, like, I don't even know what it was, but his presence was so powerful. He didn't need to say anything, like, especially back then in Mesivta. Everybody knew, like, if you had a conversation with Rabbi Lush, like, something was special about you. Like, he doesn't talk to people. Like, he'll just hear you out. Like, everyone would make a joke. Like, if you try to talk to him, he'll just say, I hear you. He'll never answer your questions. He's just like, stoic. But the thing I loved was, like, this guy doesn't say a word. All the other rabbis are teaching and preaching, and this guy, everyone in the room respects him like this. Like, he doesn't need to be seen. He doesn't need to be heard. And that's why everyone's looking at him the most. This guy everyone wants to be looking at him and respecting him, like, whoa. And no part of him is screaming, please see me, please hear me. Like me. I'm always screaming, please see me, hear me, all this, right? And this guy is like, everything, all the respect I want when I say, please see me, this guy's getting, and there is no part of him saying, please see me. I was like, whoa. It was incredible. So I harassed him a lot to try to get him to start talking to me. In the beginning, he would just be like, hey, what's up? Nice, cool, what's going on? I would just try to talk to him. He'd be like, yeah, very nice. I hear you. I just say that thing again, I hear you. Nothing else. At that same time, so my father and you got into this when I was probably 12.
How old are you now?
23.
11.
11.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the workshop was, but I was like, I bought into the idea of it. I thought it was very cool. I thought, like, this is what, like, cool guys do. Like, Adam's doing it, my father's doing it. They're, like, working on themselves. They're getting better. They're, like, more powerful. This is it. Like, I didn't even know really what it was. I just knew, like, I respected it. And then because I was hearing a lot of the lingo, right? Hold space, or, process, facilitation, like, these words, I didn't know what they meant, but I knew, these are workshop words, right? So I'm 14 and I'm listening to Rabbi Lush talk, like, 1 second. He's using the same lingo. So I hopped, like, 1 second, this guy does this work. So that was my new point of attack. I'm just going to start harassing him to tell me about this work, like, admit to me that he's doing this. And I'm just every day, every night Seder, just tell me about this stuff, tell me about this stuff, tell me about this stuff. I remember even during breaks, I was obsessed with him. I would sit by the whole breakfast. I'd get food, go sit next to him, and just harass him with questions. After a lot of harassment, he started answering my questions. He started actually talking to me. And obviously, I stayed. I got inspired. I was there for 3 years, and I just never left his side for 3 years. Just spending every waking minute I can trying to learn from him. And yeah, I think the first time I actually looked in the mirror and realized that I'm screaming to be seen was with him.
Right, because it's almost like what it sounds like when I'm listening to the story, which I never heard the story, so it's cool. Is that you saw he has something that you want,
100%.
and it's like a calm presence where I don't have to look to the outside to be seen. I can feel that on the inside. And he was like almost like the medicine that you needed as a kid. Like someone just teach me how to be okay with myself as I am.
Yeah.
Without needing and for a kid, that's, I mean, tell a kid you don't need anything. You can't tell them that. Right. But kids aren't going to take that. Kids, they're very fragile growing up. You know, they have those needs. See me, put me on your shoulders, do this, do that. Which we need to do. You can't just start at a young age, but it's like you were ready. That change, that shift from going to your comfort zone of being in Toronto to leaving there and saying, I want to make a change. So you already had the right intention. And then it was like, it was opened up. God just showed you, okay, here's the path.
Yeah.
And you took it and you went with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. God, a few times in my life, sent people that just were at the right place at the right time. And I think back now, I have this conversation with my father all the time and my mother. It could have gone so bad if those guys weren't there. Like, it could have gone the other way. Oh, man. And where I'd be right now would not be good.
Yeah. So what would you say that he gave you that directed you to, you know, that was a pivotal point in your life? What did he give you that you didn't feel like you had already? That it could have gone 50-50, like you said.
Right. So it started with just validation, just listening to me. And not saying I'm malicious, just saying, wow, that's very interesting, very cool, right? Just listening to me, just validating me, just make me feel I'm okay, make me feel I'm good. And then after all that harassment, really, my harassment was looking for him to say, you got this, you're good, validation, right? Because I wanted him to tell me that I could be like him. After all that, I think a year or two is when we really started doing work. He would really start challenging me and showing me you have a lot of power. You have a lot of power in you, a lot of energy, but you're using most of your energy for nothing, to be seen, for external nothingness. I remember like one thing, I remember specifically this challenge once, for example. I was in his class. I was in his shir for Gemara. So I was sitting in the front row. It wasn't really a classroom. It was like a zal. So a big room. Everyone's learning. Bunch of like a shul, right? So a bunch of little tables with chairs. So he's sitting in the front, and then there's like three of us, and three, and then three, like 8 or 9 kids in the class. So I had this kid sitting next to me, who, in my eyes, in my opinion, I'm still not aware, right? I'm learning that I have this, at this point, I'm learning that I have this thing about being seen. I'm learning it, but I'm not like fully, I still have to be reminded all the time. In my opinion, this guy is just trying to get attention, right? This guy next to me I can't, just the crap that's coming out of his mouth. I couldn't handle it. And the Dafka kind of guy, in my opinion. That's what I saw in my judgment, right? So the rabbi would say something, we would all get it, and then he would ask on. I can't give a good example, but just in my judgment, he just kept disrupting, and not like we weren't going anywhere. He was just everything was just stupid jokes and just like they're like, you're not even funny. Like I was getting so angry at him. Like if you want to disturb, like be good. You know what I mean? Like do it right. Like, and I was just me and this kid did not get along. Sitting right next to me, and I'm getting triggered by him all day long. Like everything is just he couldn't stop, and he would laugh really loud, and it drive me crazy. So we're actually really close today, by the way. Really funny, but. So I would like just first I would start by screaming at him like shut up, like right, giving him elbows, like just right, just come every day, getting triggered as anything. And then Rabbi Lush at some point he's like Menachem, from now on, because like this at this point I'm like telling him I want to do this work, like I'm telling him I'm ready for it, like challenge me, let's go, I want to be like you. So he's like, okay, you ready? No problem. From now on, anytime he triggers you, no matter what he says, no matter what you feel, I'm not telling you don't get angry. Get angry. No problem. That's what you're feeling. Let yourself get angry. But you are not allowed to touch him. You're not allowed to say any word to him except what you have to say to him every time he triggers you is thank you for giving me the opportunity to grow. Every time. Mm-hmm. And I'm triggered. And I'm pissed. And I want to kill this guy. And I have to. And he's specifically doing it to get me pissed, right? And I have to like submit to him and say thank you for, and like he loves it. He's like, oh yeah, thank you, and he keeps going, right? I'm sitting there like shaking with anger and like, right, and he's just sitting there. He's like, yeah, you want to do this work? Yeah, breathe. I'm like, thank you for giving me an opportunity to grow. Oh, right? Like that's how it was coming. Literally every day, multiple times a day. But after every day doing that for weeks and weeks and weeks, all of a sudden it was, thank you for giving me an opportunity to grow. I'm still angry, but like my body's learning how to breathe through it, learning how to handle it because I'm forcing myself to. I'm forcing myself to sit with it. Force myself. I cannot react. I can't do anything. I have to just do what he told me. Okay, so I'll do that. And it's literally, my body's learning how to breathe through that. And until I got to a point after months, literally, it didn't bother me anymore. I was like, yeah, Nachi, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to grow. And then he stopped. And yeah, that's just one of the examples of how he actually started doing work with me, started challenging me, started, showing me things, leading me to see what's going on inside. And yeah, it was amazing.
So that's I want people to understand what's going on over there a second, because I think it's important is growth doesn't necessarily always look like all this fun stuff that I get to do where I feel like I'm growing. Growth means, like in this situation, was you were reacting, right? You were in a reactive state, which we all are. We all have reasons that we act out or react to things. And most of the time it's coming because we have hit our own limit. We've met a limit. So growth is stretching that limit. Even in the brain, they say when you don't do anything, like I remember when I was a paramedic.
You're a paramedic?
I was a paramedic in Israel for 6 months. Magen David Adom. You get to a scene, and the first thing they say is, don't do anything. What do you mean don't do anything? Like there's a bomb, a guy's legs chopped off or what, leg flies off or people are bleeding out. Like there's chaos over there. What do you mean don't do anything? It's because you got to show up from a place of expansion, not limit. And expansion means do nothing. Like sit with the fact that you want to elbow this guy, or you want to yell at him, or you want to tell him something, you want to control it, you want to limit it, and don't. And then what happens? You expand your own limits. So yeah, it's I think that pause point between what I want to do or what feels emotionally overwhelming, don't do anything.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the growth happens. That's actually where it says your brain changes. If you do that enough times, you take a potato chip, and you bring it to your mouth, but don't eat it. They say like for 60 days straight, the brain gets what's called plasticity, which it's stretchy. No, it doesn't have to like be wired to go right into eat that potato chip without even thinking about it. It can make a choice that it can do something else. So he's like teaching you this work. You're in yeshiva and you didn't even go on a workshop. You're just like learning from this. Seems like this like guru-ish type story.
Literally.
But
another big thing that he was telling me, he was teaching me in that moment was, like you said, nothing needs to happen, but also start being okay with, there's a feeling happening right now. Let the mind go. I don't need to fix anything. Train myself to trust my body, to trust my breath, to know that I'm angry right now and it might last an hour, but that's okay. After everything's still okay right now. I'm just angry, right? Like I learned that like I get sucked into an emotion. It doesn't mean anything changed about the world. You're just feeling something. Great. Same way I'm sitting on this couch right now. Nothing changed about me, you, or anyone. I'm feeling that I'm sitting on this couch right now. Okay. And if I was feeling angry, okay. Don't try to fix it. He forced me in a way to let my body handle it. Let the anger flow through me and flow through me and flow through me and then go. Yeah. He taught me that there's nothing to heal an emotion. You're not trying to heal it. When emotion comes, the problem is not the emotion. There's no like, oh, do this now the emotion is going to go. No, it's let the emotion do whatever it needs to do. Trust it. Trust your body. Let it do its thing, and now it's gone. Let it go when it wants to go.
Yeah,
that was huge for me.
So, like, if we fast forward all the way to like the end of like you're 23 years old and you're looking back at that, and that kid was triggering you because a trigger is thank you for this opportunity. Like something actually was happening inside of you. So what was the opportunity of him triggering you? Well, first, okay, you learned how to like not react over there, but what was bothering this kid inside that he felt the need to react to wanna?
So he showed me that, with his guidance, I realized that I wasn't okay with it because I want to be seen. It always comes back to the same thing. This guy is, disturbing the class, being funny, or he thinks he's being funny and being nuts, whatever, and he's being seen. And I'm like, I did this for years, and now I'm trying to like not be seen, but like, hello, I still want to be seen. It always comes back to I want him to shut up, and I want to be the one being seen. Right? And I'm upset that he's being seen. I'm upset that he's getting attention. Right. It's still coming, coming from that same need. Please see me.
What's interesting is like, when I look at this, it's just it's a playbook over here. It's like, come from 11 kids. Mm-hmm. You're not seen over there, not because your parents aren't looking at you, is because there's so many things going on. Mm-hmm. And, it's a busy house. So to be seen is a challenge, especially when you're popping out babies every 2 years. So you be seen at school, but that's not enough for you because look what happens when you get seen. You can't get into yeshiva. And, you got to figure out sort of what to do over here. It's probably a wake-up call, I imagine, first of all, when you didn't get into yeshiva. And you had to like realize, okay, something's got to shift over here. And then it's like Hashem sends you like this one yeshiva where you have to be able to go there. And then this guy is going to teach you about everything to show you have to like go outside of your family. But really, this is a family issue. I wasn't seen at home. I was trying to be seen in school. And then I wanted to be able to start seeing myself, let's just say. Mm. And he sends you this guy, and it's unbelievable, but it's textbooks. Like that kid wanted to be seen. So how do you work on that? By having someone else take up space, just like probably what was like growing up.
Right. Also, what I learned way later on many workshops, is that also the reason why it wasn't giving me what I wanted, I mean, it wasn't enough. Being seen at school, okay, everything was good now? No. I was still trying to be seen. So what's it? There's like a big tank of being seen, and when it's full, I'm good. When it's not, I need to get... It was just endless. I always wanted to be seen. After an hour of being seen, I want more, right? It was never, I realized it wasn't about being seen. I developed a need to be seen because why? Really, I had it underneath that, I had a need just to be loved and appreciated. So if I thought I wasn't being understood, or I thought I'm not being appreciated for who I really am, I'm not being loved in that way. Okay, so now if I get seen, then I'm being appreciated, right? So I became really good at being seen, right? I was a witty kid. Or I became good at singing. I liked to act. Everything was about being seen. Anything possible that you could be seen, I was doing that. Because it was a supplement. It wasn't actually what I was after. I was after just, I appreciate you. I understand you.
Right.
You're good. But if I'm not getting that, okay, so now I become Mr. I need to be seen. I changed. That's where that break happens, that trauma, right? My father always says, trauma, what's the definition? The trauma, definition of trauma is disconnection from self. The point where you changed, the point where you stopped being you, you became something else to get something that you weren't getting. So I became, I need to be seen. That's what I became. I disconnected from Menachem, and now I became, please see me. And that was my whole life. But what I was really, really after was to just be Menachem and appreciated.
Yeah. Well, so when you say you disconnected from yourself, who were you outside of that needing to be seen?
Just a very expressive and actually very caring person. And that I feel like that to me was why it hit me so hard, because I was always judged as the polar opposite. I don't care about anybody. You don't even care that you're ruining this whole thing. You don't even care that you hurt his feelings. You don't even. I actually saw myself as a very caring person. I remember I felt I was very in tune with people when I was very little. Right, I had my great grandmother Meme. Right, no, I was seeing this at 4 years old. No one was giving her the attention she needed. Everyone would like make jokes, she's like the old grandmother. She's a little gross sometimes, it's like uncomfortable to have her around sometimes. She's not really cued into what's really going on. It's not malicious. No one's being mean. It's just like, whatever. It's Meme, you're having fun. Also, all the grandkids were like disgusted by her. They didn't want to hug her because like she's old and gross. And I remember thinking at that age that she'll die sooner because the kids are not giving her hugs.
At 4 years old.
I remember thinking that. I was so in tune with her. I would, first of all, I would spend so much time with her alone. She would like take me on trips because I was the only one who like showed her love. Whenever she was around, Shabbos, Yom Tov, we used to spend every Shabbos and Yom Tov together. I'd come home from shul, I'd run to Meme, give her a hug, give her a kiss, tell her I love her, spend 2 minutes with her, and then go play with the kids. Every day. Like anytime I saw her, it was like a mission. I was so in tune with her. I felt that I was actually a very caring person. I was judged always as the opposite. You don't care.
Well, doesn't that make sense? I mean, if you're a caring person and you disconnect from that, you have to not care.
Right.
So that's the idea of I took on this identity because, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be seen and not care about anyone else because I don't feel cared for. And I don't feel seen as who I really am and what I really have to offer.
Right.
So you go through this 3-year period. You're in yeshiva. So you must have been a completely transformed person from 14 to 17. Like, who was the guy after those 3 years?
So it was still a journey, meaning I first of all, till this day, I'm still getting help from Rabbi Lush. I still meet with him. But actually, when I was in yeshiva, so after when I was like 15, 16, so end of my second year, third year, around my second year. So like I fully bought in. In that second year. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be a healthy guy. I'm going to go to workshops. I'm going to be a facilitator. I'm in. Like, I love this. This is what I'm doing. Also because I like being seen. So, fits right in. And I also decided that I saw how much it helped me. Like, it was like life-saving. What I felt in high school in Mesivta was everything was perfect. Like, from now on, life is going to be a breeze. Like, this is like, I got it covered. I figured it out. And obviously that wasn't true, but I always needed more guidance. But my point is that it was such a help for me. I remember I told Rabbi Lush when I was 15, I said, Rabbi Lush, in 7 years, me and you are going to be running a yeshiva together. We're going to build a yeshiva that's all about this. And all the staff are going to be facilitators. Everyone's going to be in tune with this stuff, and every kid is going to get attention and going to get what I got from you. Everyone's going to get that. We're going to build a program, whatever. 7 years later, that was last year, by the way. We'll get into that soon.
What was last year? Oh, that you're saying
last year was when I was hired as principal with Rabbi Lush.
Right.
We're running a school together.
Little kid, and at 7 years ago, he's like, "Yeah, okay, buddy, it's nice to know you. Like big dreams, big talker." And 7 years later, you did that. Okay, which we'll get to, which I want to get to. But like you did all this type work, and there's obviously struggles. Like most kids in that age aren't thinking about life in a way that they want to work on themselves or be better. They're just sort of going through the motions. So it's quite unique that you actually did that. Which I kind of want to. We'll go back to it because I want to talk about the struggles of, that age, because you know it very well, and you're helping people with that today. But why'd you go on a workshop? Like if you had the workshop alive for 3 years and like a slow process, but it was like a process like that, then what would be the point of going on a workshop? Like why should someone go on a workshop if they have things somewhat figured out?
So I actually went on a workshop for the wrong reasons, technically. If I think about it. Okay. I went on a workshop because I wanted to be a facilitator. Right? I thought that I was already doing this work. I do this work. What do you mean? Me and Rabbi Lush have been doing this work for 3 years. I am a healthy guy. Right?
I actually remember that, yeah.
I wanted to come. I was asking my father to not even participate. Let me come as a staff. First time. He's like, no. No. And I had to wait till I was 18, right? And I was begging at 16. I already decided I was ready to go. I want to start. I want to get this started. But yeah, I was really looking at it only from the wrong perspective. I was going because, in my mind, because I'm just here to learn these techniques because I'm going to be a facilitator. I want to help other people. And then I went to the workshop, and right away, the Shabbos morning, I realized, like, oh, you know what? Well, maybe it was a good thing I came as a participant. And that's where it shifted. Even from Friday, I was all in, but I was not all in because I needed help. I was all in and listening to every word and taking it in. Why? Because I want to be in Adam's spot. I want to be a facilitator. Adam's being seen. I want to be seen. So I was taking it all in. I was like, wow, this stuff's amazing. And also, as much as I did work with Rabbi Lush, I didn't learn it like that. I didn't really, even the stuff that I was already doing, kind of, it was to the next level. Like I was just doing it in a group with other men and seeing real issues and being facilitated and using the tools in a much more organized and learning, oh, that's what that is. Oh, got it. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. Right. It was very much still learning much more. I didn't know what I thought I knew. And then, Shabbos day, my process was very powerful. I had my brother there, and there's a fair share of not being seen with him, right? With him was a big struggle growing up sometimes. He was also going through his own stuff, and he had a lot of fight inside of him. He had a lot of inner struggle, and he would take it out a lot on me, on Shmuley, on my other siblings. So he was there, and you facilitated me. You put him in front of me, and we were crying together for like I don't even know how long. And then my uncle was there. My father, two of my uncles were there. My father's there. My brother's there. It was like a family workshop. It was incredible. And yeah, it humbled me, and it also like inspired, like it rekindled the fire of like do more work on yourself. Like the first, like when I was in Shifta for like 2 years, I'm like an animal about this stuff. I'm all in. Then I finished and said like, okay, now I'm done. Like I've done work. I'm still doing it, but like I do work, right? So now it's time to teach, right? Now it's time to learn how to be. And then so that like rekindled it. Like whoa, keep going. Like there's no stopping. There's no such thing as now you're done. Like what are you talking about? You went to this workshop to be seen. What do you mean you're done? You went to this workshop because you're trying to be seen. You went to become a facilitator. I think that's what you came. So the work continued with Rabbi Lush after that, calling him off the hook. And then a year later, I went back to yeshiva where he was. So Monsey actually closed down. Then there's this new yeshiva called Ache that Levi Sekernik, amazing guy, sweetest guy in the world, opened up 7 years ago. About so like my last year in Ache in Monsey. So it's crazy, by the way, how divine it is. Monsey opens up when I'm in 8th grade. The year before I need to go, Monsey opens up. I leave Monsey, it closes down. The last year I'm in Monsey, Ache opens up. Last year I was in Monsey. I'm on my way out. Ache opened that year. And I dropped, between Monsey and Ache, I spent a year. I took time. I didn't go to yeshiva right away. During that time, what do? They bring Rabbi Lush to Ache. Sorry, I'm mixing up the years. I went before. I went because my friends were going. I went there first. He was still in Monsey. The year right after Masifta, so the year right after Monsey, I went straight to Ache. He was still there. That was the last year that they closed down in the middle of that year, sort of. So he was still there. I went to Ache, and I don't know if this is why they hired him, but I was harassing Levi that he needs to hire Rabbi Lush. Like, because Levi was also very ahead of his game. He wanted to make yeshiva surrounded around mental health and helping Bachram. He didn't have the tools so much he didn't know how he was going to do it so much. Like it was still morphing and figuring it out, but he had a base. He had what you needed in a base, which is every staff here, every rabbi here is here to love the guys. That's why they're here. There's no judgment here. That's the foundation of Ache. That's how he started it, which is, step one in building a yeshiva like that. But he didn't have the professionals. He didn't have, right? There was much more hiring to do. So that was like my first year was like right after he opened. So I was just telling him, gotta hire this guy. Then COVID hit, so I left. I was at yeshiva for another year and a half. I was here, I was at home, whatever. In that time is when they hired Rabbi Lush. And him and Rabbi Fenton as well. They, started making the yeshiva more, taking Levi's foundation and plan and making it more professional, right? How are we going to hit each bacher? How are we going to, love is great. And the first thing we need is a safe space, is a place where there's no judgment. Okay, but now how do we take it further? So Rabbi Fenton, Rabbi Lush really made it more professional. And we still are. So I went back. After that year and a half, after COVID, I went back there as a shliach, which is basically volunteering. It's kind of like you're kind of like an older brother to the guys. I'm only 1 year older than the Bachram. I was 19. Some of them were even my age, actually. I went a year early. Really, shlichus is like when you're 20. So I basically was volunteering there and just doing my thing, trying to be what Lush was for me, trying to just sit with guys,
for other Bachram,
listen, for other students, just listen to them, validate them, show them that the craziness that's going on in their head when they're 17, they think like this is the biggest problem ever. Like, I'm never going to get over this. It's like, it's okay. Like, we're here for you. You're good. You have stuff going on. That's no problem. Right. Just mainly, validating, being there, supporting. And I went back another year as a shliach, second year, and I got a little more involved. And the whole time, like in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm going to stay here until they hire me. Like, I'm going to prove to them, I'm going to show what I can do here. And eventually, they'll hire me and we'll go nuts. Me, Rabbi Lush, Levi, Fenton, we're going to go crazy, right? We're going to build the most amazing yeshiva ever. So I was there for 3 years, basically volunteering. And then beginning of last year, so September, almost a little more than a year ago. So September is when we started. So 3 months before that, or 4 months before that. So towards the end of that school year, the principal that was there was leaving. So he came over to me. He's like, "What would you think about taking over as principal?" I was like, "Come on." For the first month, I was like, "No." Like this principal, like I was thinking maybe to work, but principal. So I said no for the beginning. We were back and forth, negotiating. Okay, fine. I said yes. I started September of 2024. Yeah, last year. And that was 7-year mark. That was a 7-year mark from 15 when I was 22. Yeah, we'll get into more of that. What was your question? I went on the whole thing.
It's just the journey is why would you need a workshop? And you see, because there's always more work on yourself. But, in that period, not to gloss over because it's important.
No, we're going to get back to that, yeah.
You continue to come on workshops. You're like, I'm going to continue. Like, how many workshops did you go on since your first one?
27, maybe? 26.
27 that's got to be
4 years.
4 years.
Almost,
4 year period. That's 5. A lot of workshops.
Yeah.
That's like, so now we're thinking, okay, maybe this guy's really messed up. Like, why is he coming back 27 times? And I think it was a combination, if you could tell me, where you learned more about yourself, you went deeper into yourself, and you humbled yourself more, but you also trained more. That's part of the training ground. Like, what's the point of coming back to a workshop 27 times? Right. Where then you stepped into the role, even though, many times I thought you weren't ready and all this kind of stuff. And like, I'm going to facilitate. And, just an inspiring process to watch from your first workshop to like, I'm going to do this, and to have the confidence to do that is just amazing. And it was so needed for our organization, because like, who's going to step up? Like, who is going to step up? And lo and behold, it's like, usually it's like there's this nepotism thing where what happens in family businesses where you get your kid, but I would say you earned your right to step up. And, I saw that desire to be seen over the years, but then at the same time, humbling yourself, and you keep on working on it, which is inspiring. And then now you take this and you make this your life mission, which I think is amazing. And it was like, I would say probably the biggest moment of your life was not getting into yeshiva, in a certain sense.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you were cornered in and there was just this one thing that flashed up on that status, it was like, okay, that was a big turning point in your life. And then you're like, that thing, well, I'm going to make that for other people. And it's going to be real, and they're going to care about the kids, because really what you were saying was, nobody cares about me. That's been your mission. You're pushing through. It's like almost, and the more you can get in touch, or we can get in touch with our own wounds, underneath the wound is like a tremendous amount of love for that person that had to go through that, which is my own love for myself. So now I'm going to give that to other people, which is it's like living the dream. It's living the mission. And so I want to hear, what practically are you doing to take this work and make it real for people?
So before I get to that, you just mentioned something that is to me, I think it's such a strong point, is that the whole time when I kept coming on workshops, in the beginning, it was all about being seen, all about I want to be a facilitator. But you said at the same time, humbling myself. But the whole time, while I'm humbling myself and learning more, the desire to be a facilitator never went away. I still was always coming to staff to learn more. And I think it's important because I talk, and Bachram have this, or any people in our check-in groups or people in workshops, they discover, okay, let's say, for example, me. I discovered that I'm trying to be a facilitator to be seen. Okay, so now I have to stop being I can't do that. That's coming from a bad place. No. The data is not the problem. The problem is what's going on inside. Doesn't mean stop doing what you're doing. Doesn't mean change your whole life. I think sometimes people misunderstand the work a little bit, and they think, oh, so this is coming from a bad place, so this whole thing is bad. And now it's like, whoa, chill. Don't, again, you're sinking in too much to the emotions and blowing them up. There's just something going on inside here, in here. Everything else, don't worry about that, right? It's like I developed a skill of being seen. I became good at talking to people from an unhealthy place. So now I should not be good at talking to people? No, right? Your wounds create who you are. You heal the wounds. You don't change who you are. These are still skills. These are still good things. And not only that, but you took on these things because you needed to. You needed to learn how to be seen. And it's a good thing. It serves you and it deserves you, right? Creating who you are comes through pain. We want to heal the pain. We don't want to stop being who we are, right? Those skills that you took on along the way, don't stop them. You're a crazy salesman because you have an ego. Okay, so stop being a good salesman. No, just get rid of the ego. Still be an animal, right? So, yeah, I think that's
it's a very important point because people, often feel that if they do work on themselves, they're going to lose themselves. They're going to lose themselves, everything that they built. In fact, part of doing work on yourself is not just jumping from one extreme to the other, because if you jump to the other extreme, it almost means you don't accept your previous self, which is so much of what got you here today. So it's important to have compassion on yourself, and it's like a reintegration. It's just an expansion. That's why I say it's an expansion. Why I say it's an expansion, because you're not changing. You're just expanding who you are.
Right. If healing is connecting back to self, if that's what we're doing here, right? Learning to accept and be okay with who I am and what I feel, and all my part of that means you have to accept your whole life, all your experiences. This was a bad experience. No. This changing made me like this. If you're really doing healing, if you really want to, let's call it fully connected to self, which we're all not there yet, but if we're fully connected to self, that means I love my whole life. I'm grateful for everything that ever happened to me. If I'm fully connected to myself, I'm grateful for everything, because there's no part of me that I disapprove of or don't love. Right? So also people can misunderstand it from a place of victimhood. Like I have people in a check-in group, they say like, so I went on a workshop. I realized that I'm a people pleaser. I have no confidence. I'm just trying to please everybody around me. So now I'm going to become a people displeaser. Right? So now I'm never going to please anybody ever again, because I'm doing work on myself. What's wrong with being someone who makes people happy? You just think you're a victim.
Yeah.
What's wrong with being a guy who makes people happy? Don't lose yourself. Doesn't mean you're coming to do work. It means that everything you're doing now sucks. Throw it in the garbage, and I'll become this guy who's tripping. No, like just be you. We're gonna heal the stuff that hurts. Everything else, it's gonna become more powerful. You're gonna start to channel these things, these skills, in a better way.
100%. You got to be able to use what was given to you. It's like, just keep the parents that you had, keep the life that you had. It wouldn't change a thing.
Right.
But embrace it as it was, as it is. So tell me how you're practically doing this today with this yeshiva. So you manifest this yeshiva, it's happening, you're here, and you're side by side with the one who taught you himself.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. What are you offering? What are the struggles, and what are you offering to these bachrim?
Right. Okay. So let me first lay down what Ache is. So to make Ache is a mental health yeshiva. That's what it is. It's a place where the mental health and the emotional health of the bachrim is our number one priority. Our number one priority, if I'm being frank, is not that they learn Gemara. It's not our number one priority. We believe that spiritual health and learning your Gemara and Chassidus can only be done with mental and emotional health. If you're not mentally, emotionally healthy, you can learn, and it's good. I'm not discounting everyone who's learning and not working on themselves. It's good. But first of all, today's day and age with Bachram, it doesn't last. I've seen so many students who are going to the top yeshivas. I'm not going to say names, but the top yeshivas, you hear that name, that yeshiva, it's like, these guys are almost tzaddikim. Like, they're like, this is like, they're this close. And then they leave and they fall off a cliff, right? they're not these guys anymore. They start doing all the things that they would never do, right? Most people today. So again, I'm not discrediting learn and do that, but I believe that today's day and age it has to come together. You can't be spiritually healthy without being mentally and emotionally healthy. You can't. So that's why I say our number one priority is that, not the learning, but the learning comes. So how do you build a mental health yeshiva? How do you create a space where this is what we're focusing on? So it starts off, number one, like I said, with a space of love and acceptance, a safe space. So what that means is, number one, the staff you hire. So every teacher in Ache is not just a teacher. A guy who comes only for 3 hours because he gives a Gemara share, he's not just a guy who comes for 3 hours and gives a Gemara share. He's also on the same page as all of us. He also knows the mission plan, that we're here to love and accept the students and give them a safe space. We're here not to judge them, right? There's no such thing as you yelling at a kid because he's being chutzpah. Like, we're not doing that. We don't do that over here. A kid disturbs your class? Okay. After class, calmly pull him aside and say, what's going on? What's going on? How are you doing? What's happening for you? So it's step one. Step one is you have to get a team of staff that are on the same page. Everyone this is the mission plan. Everybody knows this. Your class is important, but more importantly, there's 15 souls in your classroom, and your job is to love them. That's number one. So that creates that safety, that love, that acceptance, that environment. After that, once a Bachar comes to yeshiva and he feels loved and he feels accepted, and for the first time in his life, he feels like he can do anything he wants and no one's going to judge him, right? Can you imagine a yeshiva where Bacharim are coming to yeshiva on a Sunday morning, let's say, right? This is not all our students, but you'll have students that come to yeshiva on a Sunday morning, and they're going to the holy rabbi, right? The mashpia, the guy with the beard and the hat and everything that's like, and they're telling him about the rave they went to last night. Any other yeshiva, you're gone. Get out of here. You can't say it. First of all, you can't speak like that to mashpia. He's going to judge you. He's going to, right? But why they're coming? Why are they going to him to talk to him about it? First of all, because they know I'm not going to get judged. And number two is they actually do want to work on it. These kids that are going to raves and struggling, they want to get better. So step two is once they experience that, they have that freedom, and now they want to actually grow. You need professionals, right? So we have Rabbi Lush. I call him a professional. Levi Tsukernik, he's not clinically a professional, just like Rabbi Lush isn't, but he's been dealing with Bachram his whole life. He's an amazing guy. He's very smart. He's very knowledgeable in psychology and different programs, the 12 steps or different stuff. He's very knowledgeable in these things. And he's like a tati. I'm saying everyone that comes to Ache just falls in love with this guy. Rabbi Fenton also, again, not a professional technically, but he's a mashpia who can really, really help people, really help the Bachram. He's very smart. He knows how to connect people, how to give them the help they need. And we also have a therapist on staff, right? His job is to be there and just pick out guys at a time and make appointments with them. And so there's like a 3-prong attack. You have the traditional therapist for certain guys, like that's what they need. That's what speaks to them. They're not ready to go and do breathwork with Rabbi Lush yet. They're not ready to go crazy. But you have Rabbi Lush who's takes on all the biggest projects. Like the guys that are crazy and they're ready for it. Okay, let's go. We literally Rabbi Lush does breathwork group every Wednesday with Bachram. He has a group of guys that he feels are ready. He does breathwork with them during Eon. Like he brings them, we go to another space out of Zal and they do breathwork. And you have Levi and Rabbi Fenton who are just good old mashpiyim, but are much more than that. Much more than that. That's step 2. Step 3 is you need to have a program, right? You can't just have a space where, you can look however you want, you can be whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, and we love you, and it's great, and we're doing work with you. That's amazing. It is amazing. But if you lose the accountability, if you lose pushing them to be productive, it can be counterproductive because you're just teaching them, because these are not 10-year-olds. These are 18, 19-year-olds. So they also need to be ready for the real world, right? You're not teaching them, by the way, you know what the work is? You can do whatever you want. And we're going to love you. No, we are going to love you and we are going to work with you, but you can't do whatever you want. We won't, just because you hate God or you don't hate God, you love God, but you struggle with porn, right? Just because that's happening for you doesn't mean don't show up the whole day, don't learn, don't do nothing. So we've figured out how to separate the two, where you're not bad if you don't show up and learn. The learning became something that's just being productive. It didn't become you're good or you're bad, whether you learn or you don't learn, right? This is a program. This is what we're offering. You also have to show up and you have to pass your tests and you have to be productive, because we need to know that you're invested here, because what we're offering is next level. And if we let you do nothing, you would be in Crown Heights doing whatever you'd be doing the whole day. Okay, and you'd come to a session with Rabbi Lush once a week. That's nice, but we want you to be productive and grow. And sometimes it's challenging. That's where I come in. My job is to enforce that, is to make sure that the trains are running on time, people are showing up, classes are going well, people are passing their tests, all that stuff. It's funny that I became that guy.
Yeah, it's like you were the guy in school that was this mischievous kid,
Yeah.
and now you're the one telling kids to get their heads together.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, the most troubled student became the principal. Like,
Yeah.
that is actually the story.
Yeah.
And all the work and the belief and the patience that people had for you is now not only made you into this person that is established in your life, you're in a good position, you literally keep on manifesting what you want, but now you're giving it to other people.
Mhm.
And that giving it to other people is like, what is that thing that you're giving to them? And in my opinion, what I'm hearing you say is you're giving them a belief in themselves, which they might not have had.
Mhm.
Right? Like, the reason I go to raves or I do all these things is because I don't believe in myself. I just need to escape. I need to have a good time.
Mhm.
And I don't really believe that I'm holding this mission that God wants me to do all these things. At least it doesn't feel good. And that's why love is so important, of course. It comes into these places. Like, there has to be that element of love. We have to know that behind everything that we're doing, that we are loved, which is really what's going on beneath the curtain of existence. Like, God loves us. And so, like, to me, what you're doing, and when you say you're doing work on yourself, a person's doing work on themselves, is like we're literally living connected to the message of God's love behind the curtain and working through everything, that no matter what, I'm going to stay connected to that mission. And then you're creating an environment for others to experience that, to come into their own.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think
How many Bachram do you have now?
So including shluchim, which are what I started as, meaning they're still students in our program. Right? They're 20 or 21, so they're not, they're helping out, but they're counted as students. They're getting the same help as everyone else is getting in the program. So including them, I think we're at 76.
Wow.
Something around there, between 75 and 80, something like that.
Wow. And the goal is to just keep on expanding and growing.
That's the goal. Yeah.
And you feel as it expands, because sometimes these things are done in like nice, intimate, cozy spaces, you'll be able to take on the challenge of being there for more people. It's like,
yeah, no, I think it'll get way better. A big thing we're trying to do right now is buy our own space, get a building, get our own campus, because we'll be able to help much more people. Right? Because right now the way it's structured, which I want to make it better, but the way it's structured is that we're in Crown Heights, we're local, we're renting a space across the street, we're renting another space, dorms and whatever. It's not a comfortable space, it's not a beautiful space, and there's a lot of challenges in Crown Heights and where we are. And I mean, if you want people to come to yeshiva and stop lusting after women and stop watching porn, or you want them to come to yeshiva and, you know, stop smoking weed, or, you know, whatever we're trying to help them accomplish, be more connected to themselves. You have to kind of make it almost like a rehab. It's got to be comfortable. It's got to be nice, I believe. I think there needs to be, you know, a bacher needs to be able to walk outside and take a breath and take a walk in the grass. I think that would help us more if we had a bigger space. It also just means more hiring, right? We want to have a certain ratio to staff, right? A certain bacher to staff ratio. And if we had more students, we need more professionals. We need more teachers that are, you know, part of the same mission. If we need to hire a few more principals, so like, you know, everything is more organized, okay, no problem. I think it'll only get better. It'll only get more professional, and the more growth will happen, the bigger we get. Yeah.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. So from being kicked out of school or not being accepted into school to starting a school, the transformative story of Menachem 4, what can you tell someone right now, which is the people that you help, that like if they have one message to take away from this?
One message to take away from this.
17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid, the struggles that they go through, what do you want to let them know?
That, you know, the world around you, the way you see it and how tough it is right now, you just trust yourself a little bit, believe in yourself. The same way you're seeing it through your own eyes, right? So the same way this world looks the way it looks right now, it's because that's what you're seeing. You're in full control. You don't realize you're in full control. So as hard as it seems now, it's because of what's going on inside, which means that if you shift what's going on inside, everything around you will change. So as heavy as everything seems, or like you think it's like I'm drowning in this, you're in full control of your reality. You create your own reality 100%. I've seen it in my own life every day. I've seen it with other people. I've seen it with Bachar Yeshiva come complain about something, or this is triggering them, whatever. We do a little bit of work with them, and a week later, it's like they're seeing it not even different, the opposite. Like this kid was triggering them, they're best friends now. How did that happen? He changed? He didn't change. You changed because you're in full control of your reality.
Which can be also scary for a person, but at the same time, you know, that's led one moment where he had to sit down with his mother. Probably, I would say that's one of the most impactful moments.
100%.
And say, you got to make something of yourself, and you can do something about this. And Hashem squeezed you into that one thing, and the close down ever was like it was only open for you and my son. And a lot of your story, and it's inspiring. Thank you for sharing all those details. I never heard the full story. And you should have continued success in what you're doing, because the world needs us.
It does.
Thank you.
Thank you.